Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. Here with me is Simone Bellassai from CDR WineLab. Simone,
Hello, everyone.
how are you?
Hello, everyone. Fine, thanks, and I hope it will be the same for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much. So, everyone, today we'll be here talking about an easy-to-use device for the real-time monitoring of your fermentations. As I just told you, here with me is Simone Bellassai that will explain how the instrument works. First, we will talk about a little bit of theory, I guess it's said in English, and then we will go with a practical demonstration on how this easy-to-use device works. So they will have a portable photo camera, professional photo camera, to show you in real time how that machinery works. So everybody, just a few things before starting. You can always interact. Remember that you can always write in the chat if you have any questions. Either if you're connected by cell phone, you should have a question mark at the bottom of your screen. You just press on it and you type there your question. Otherwise, if you are connecting from your computer, on the right side of your screen, you should have an orange arrow. You just click on it and then you go on questions and you write there your question. I'll be the only one, me and my team actually will be the only one to receive that question. It won't be public, so you can write anything that you want. If I think that your question or comment is something that might be interesting for everyone else, I might share it with the rest of the group here. I want just to tell you that we are connecting from all over the world. I was just scrolling the list of the attendees, and we are very representative for all over the world. I guess that maybe there's not a lot of people connecting from Australia, since it's probably after midnight there. But just let me know if everything is okay, if you understood how this webinar works. And please just tell me where you're connecting from so that we can share with all of one, with all the other guys here, just where you're connecting from. And another thing, just remind that you can always be in touch with me with the chat, but I can also be in touch with you and share opinion and comments in the chat. So just be sure to look at it. For example, now it's Pablo from Argentina. I just say hi, Pablo. And this is how it works. So everyone else will see Pablo's message, but without his name and my answer. So just feel free to say everything that you need and to greet everyone else in the chat. For example, Valmarie, I hope it's pronounced correctly, is from Cape Town in South Africa. Ciao, Valmarie. And another thing, I want you to, oh, wait. So in the chat now, you will be able to see this link with a message. Is the link to invite a friend of yours or a colleague of yours to participate to this live event. Of course, it's a free live event. So if you know someone that might be interested to this great solution that CDR is providing, just feel free to share this link with that person, either via message, Facebook, or whatever you. Just feel free to use everything. So thank you very much, everyone. I will just leave the word now to Simone. Simone, you can now share your screen. You'll receive the command now. And yeah, just to another thing. So I said that we start with the theory, then we go on a practical demo, and then at the end we have 15-20 minutes for Q&A. So if you have any questions during the presentation, just write it, and we'll be answering it at the end of the webinar. So Simone, good luck. Ciao.
Okay, thank you very much, Francesco, for your presentation, for your presence here. Thank you very much for to all of you to be here. And as Francesco told you, I'm going to show you a short presentation about the system, the CDR WineLab system. And after that, we are going to do a real-time demonstration about the analyzer. In this case, we have chosen two analyses, the L-malic acid and total SO2 that we are going to show you. after this short presentation. Okay, let's start with a little presentation of CDR. CDR is a company that works mainly in 4 different products. We can say now, a long time ago, around 1970, CDR started its activity in the telematic systems, where we produce automatic tolls for the motorways. And following the history of CDR, after more or less 20 years in collaboration with a big international company into the blood analysis, so we are talking about 1990, CDR acquired the know-how to build systems for blood analysis. And after other 10 years, CDR decided to transfer practically the know-how of the medical diagnostics to the food diagnostics. So in this case, we are talking about roughly 2000. So it means we've been working into the food diagnostic sector for 20 years, let's say. And into the food diagnostic sector, we work in different sectors. We are talking about the milk or dairy sector, beverage, and so on. We are going to see them later. Another sector we have opened actually into this pandemic time is the sector we call sensoring, where we produce sensoring systems. And in this case, we produce specific sensors or probes that can work into the sector of luxury, the production of luxury or jewelries, and for specific application. In this case, I'm referring to specific analysis for the coffee machine sector. So mainly we work in 4 different sectors, and of course our main business now is the food diagnostic sector. So into this sector, as I told you, we work into the milk and dairy product sector. We analyze high products, tomato or vegetable puree, bakery products. And in the food and feed sector, we work with a specific analyzer, a specific dedicated analyzer that is called FoodLab. About the beverage, we are able to work on, of course, wine, beer and water, cider, and kombucha. Here we have a specific analyzer dedicated for each of these sectors. About the sector of oils and fats, we are able to work on all kinds of oils and fats, of course, and also we work on the sector of nuts and artificial fruits. Here we work with the same CDR FoodLab, or we have 2 dedicated analyzers, the oxy tester specific for olive oil, and the CDR palm oil tester, of course, specific for palm oil. CDR is present all over the world. We sell in more than 10 countries. We have more than, now I think, 50 distributors, but we are able to sell directly everywhere without any problem. So let's start looking at the system. So the WineLab is a system composed by the analyzer. So as you can see, we have 2 versions of the analyzer, the big one and the small one. And we produce the reagents as well. So we combine these 2 parts, and we're going to see all the advantages later. And the combination between, of course, the conjunction point between the analyzer and the reagent is just a pipette to collect the sample. We use both analyzers are thermostated at 37 degrees Celsius, and we use LEDs emitters as light source. So this gives us a lot of advantages in terms of life of the reading cell, and also the power of the reading cell itself. About the reagents, as you can see, here we sell packages of 10 tests. It means inside you find 10 pre-filled cuvettes ready to use and already calibrated. I'm going to explain what does that mean right now. Okay, so let's see the features of the analyzer. Here you have a picture of the analyzer that is composed by different parts. We have an incubation part, we have a reading part, we have a printer, and a screen. We don't need any maintenance. All our devices are very strong. You don't need, as I told you, you don't need any calibration because we calibrate our reagents on our analyzers. So we supply a system already calibrated. As I told you before, we have a reading part made by LEDs with a range in absorbance between 0 and 6. So we have a wider range compared to a normal photometer, for example. Because normally a normal photometer can have a range in absorbance between 0 and 2 or 0 and 3. So we can say that we have twice or 3 times more than a normal photometer in terms of absorbance. We can work with this analyzer in 2 different ways. We can work by session. It means we can fill all the incubation part with 16 cuvettes, for example, to carry out the Malic analysis, and we can run all these 16 analyses all together at the same time. So if you have 16 tanks in your winery, you can check the malolactic fermentation in one shot at the same time. You can work also with the multitasking mode. It means you have a wine or a grape juice, and you can carry out different analyses at the same time. For example, malic, acetic, and sugar, and the sugars at the same time. So you can run the same parameter or on different wines or different parameters on the same wine. We give 3 years warranty. It means, again, the analyzer is very strong, and you have, as I told you, and you can see the touch screen on which you can read the method step by step. This will be will be clearer for sure when we are going to do the demonstration after. Okay, what about the reagents? As I told you, our specific feature is that we have reagents in pre-filled cuvettes. Reagents in pre-filled cuvettes and already calibrated. So you don't need a calibration. You don't have to calibrate any reagent. You have just to get the reagents and run the analysis. So it means the reagents are ready to use. We have, of course, a pretty long shelf life about that, between 6 and 18 months, talking about a single package of 10 tests. So here you can see the differences between the big version and the small version. The CDR WineLab, the big version, can run all the analysis. You have a complete panel of tests. You have the printer on board, and you can work, as I told you before, you can work in both ways, by section, same parameter on different kind of wines, or different parameters on the same wine. What about the junior, the small version? As you can see here, you have only the reading part. You don't have an incubation part, but you can use the same reading part as incubation. So it means, okay, I forgot to tell you that the junior can be tailored with 3 analyses of your choice. So you can choose the analysis you need. Let's make an example. So you are interested in malic acid. to control the malactic fermentation, sugars to detect the end of alcoholic fermentation, and free SO2. We can tailor a junior with this analysis. After this, if you want, you can update with more analysis after, if you need them, and you can just buy the configuration. So you can add on a junior also more than 3 tests on the same analyzer. Of course, here you don't have a printer, and you can carry out three analyses at the same time of the same parameter. You are not able to run the multitasking mode in this case because, of course, you don't have the incubation part. Okay, so let's start looking at the WineLab into the winemaking process. Okay, so with the WineLab, you can analyze the grapes, you can analyze the grape juice, the must, and you can analyze also, of course, the finished wine. So it means you can analyze the whole winemaking process from the beginning to the end. Of course, we have, and we are talking about this after, we have to work a little bit on the grapes and the grape juice, because of course here we have a not homogeneous sample. Anyway, easily we can work on them. Here you have all the parameters we are able to do. So as you can see, practically you can follow, as I told you before, the whole winemaking process from the grapes. For example, here we have a very important analysis like yeast assimilable nitrogen into the grape juice. Of course, sugars, malic, lactic, free and sulfur dioxide, copper, calcium for the stability, or acetic acid, even exotic, I'd say, analysis like gluconic and galacturonic acid that are very important for the production of champagne or in general for the sparkling wine. You can follow all the polyphenols as you like through the total anthocyanins using the TPI, the total polyphenol index, or even tonality and intensity. So, as you can see, you have a complete panel of tests for your quality control in the winery. Okay, so let's start talking about the ripeness of the grapes. Here, you are easily able to, you can easily detect the technological ripeness and the phenolic maturity. So, you can detect sugars and NTA and total acidity, and you have a pretty easy way to check and to follow the phenolic maturity of your grapes. So about the grape juice, as I told you before, the grape juice is of course liquid with a high sugar content and then a high turbidity. So in this case, thanks to the fact that we use micro quantity of samples, we easily, with 2 small accessories, a centrifuge and an ultrasonic bath, we are able to clarify and to clarify the sample and to carry out the analysis. So with centrifuge, of course, we clarify the grape juice, and with the ultrasonic bath, we can degas the sample in case you want to perform analysis over the alcohol fermentation where you have the CO2 in your sample. Of course, you can use the ultrasonic bath also if you have sparkling wine. Okay, so what about the sugars analysis? With the WineLab, we detect the fermentable sugars. So we are able, in this case, we have 3 different kits. So we can detect the fermentable sugars and having one result, or we can detect the glucose and fructose separately. We can also detect the fermentable sugars when you have sucrose included. Here you have an example with a sample of 230 grams per liter. Of course, if you analyze the same sample with glucose and fructose, you have, for example, 120 of glucose and, for example, 110 grams of fructose. So you have two results. In case of an addition of 20 grams per liter of sucrose, you will get 250 grams. Okay, what about if you have a problem? In this case, here you have displayed a normal alcohol fermentation. And if you have a stack fermentation, you can use the glucose and fructose kit, because with this kit, you are able to distinguish how much glucose and how much fructose you have in your grape juice. And in this way, you are able to choose the right yeast to restart fermentation. About the end of the alcohol fermentation, we are able to detect without the end of the fermentation, without any dilution, with a range between 0.1 and 18 grams per liter. So easily you can take the sample and run the analysis without performing any dilution. What about total acidity? We have, I forgot to tell you before about the sugars that we have a reference method. We detect the fermentable sugars through the enzymatic method, that is the reference method. In case of total acidity, of course, we have a method correlated to the reference one. And here we have a range between 0.5 and 10 grams per liter, and the result is expressed, of course, in tartaric acid, or we have also the possibility to express the results in sulfuric acid, if you have a French winemaker, or if you are used to look at the TA from the French point of view, I can say. So, these are all analyses that easily you can run on grape juices after the easy treatment with the centrifuge, or if you are over the fermentation after a degassing with the ultrasonic bath. Acetic acid, again, reference method. In this case, of course, we can use this parameter for the whole production, and we have a range between 0.05 and 1.2 grams per liter. You can run your grape juice also the malic acid in order to understand before which is the level, what is the level of the malic acid before to start the malic fermentation. In this case, we have a range between 0.05 and 5 grams per liter. Again, here we can go over 5 grams without any problem, simply reducing by half the volume of the sample. So we can easily extend the range of the malic acid till 10 grams per liter, easily reducing by half the sample. Okay, so it's the same analysis. We don't have to dilute anything. Total sulfur dioxide, in this case, for both total and free sulfur dioxide, we have a big advantage in our methods, because our methods are not Reagents methods, so they are not affected by the presence of ascorbic acid, for example, or tannins with reduction activity. And of course, they are not affected by color. So, and I have to say that, of course, free SO2 is the most test we sell. Okay, other two important analyses about the grape juice. Of course, I'm talking about red wine in this case, as you can see. The yeast assimilable nitrogen. Again, we use the reference method, or we can call it the most up-to-date method. and it is composed by practically the inorganic nitrogen and the organic nitrogen. So performing two analyses, you have the two composition, the two parts of the animal. Our method is not affected by, doesn't detect proline and hydroxyproline. So we determine exactly the fermentable amino acids you have in your must. Other two parameters are important parameters: gluconic acid and glucuronic acids. These parameters are linked to the botrytis on grapes and are very important, especially in this case about the red wine, especially gluconic acid, about whites, about the white wines. Also glucuronic acid is very important, and in this case both gluconic and glucuronic acids are very important for champagne, because you can evaluate the grape juice, and based on these two parameters and other parameters, of course, such as glycerol or acetic acid, we can establish a specific protocol more linked or more adjusted for the grape juice you have. Okay. Here I put some big references we have in this case, and I'm talking about Monte Chandon, Vico, or Laboratoire de Champagne that use intensively our method to detect these parameters. What about the maceration? So I'm talking about the extraction of the color. In this case, as I told you before, we can monitor the polyphenols using the color analysis, practically the reading of the absorbance at 420 nanometers, 520 and 620 nanometers. We can monitor the total anthocyanins or the total polyphenol index. Again, here we have to use the centrifuge and the ultrasonic bath. The centrifuge to clarify the sample, while the ultrasonic bath to degas the sample, to remove the CO2 from the sample for an easy collecting of the sample, of course. So, talking about red wine, malolactic fermentation. After this presentation, we are going to see a malic acid that we can say represents a medium of the handling of the wine lab, because you can imagine the handling of the malic acid is the same of sugars, lactic, acetic, ionic, gluconic. So if you look at this analysis, you can imagine that most of the practically all the others have more or less the same handling. So to monitor the malolactic fermentation, you can easily detect the L-lactic acid to see if the malolactic fermentation has started or not, or if you see that the malolactic fermentation has started using the L-lactic. After that, you can follow the malolactic fermentation with the malic acid, of course. We have, in this case, a detection limit very low of 0.05 grams per liter. What about the color stabilization? You can stabilize your color in different way, depending on the wine you produce and depending on different things. So you can monitor your polyphenols using 4 analyses, as I told you: total anthocyanins, total polyphenol index. We have also, of course, a test correlated to the Florence method. And of course, you have you have the color. Here you have a collaboration we made with Parsec. Parsec is a company that produces microoxygenators, because microoxygenation is a technique that you can use to stabilize the color and to improve the quality of your wine. Here we have optimized, we have developed some of these analysis, as you can see, total anthocyanins, polymerized anthocyanins, tannins, and HCl index. And here, these parameters you see with color and pH are the parameters that are used by the MOX-Easy software of Parsec. That is a software that is able to calculate the right concentration of oxygen for the microoxygenation based on the polyphenols of your wine. So with the WineLab, we evaluate, we measure the specific parameters that you can see here, and we put these results into the MOX-Easy software. From the MOX-Easy, we have the right concentration of the oxygen that you can give to your wine through the sign 5000, that is the microoxygenator. So here you can have a combination between the software, the microoxygenator, and of course an analyzer, CDR WineLab. What about the white wines? Of course, most of the quality control is the same. About the technological richness, you have the same story, sugars and PA. Here, as I told you, very important are gluconic acid and galacturonic acid. These two analyses combined with acetic acid and glycerol are very important to for the quality control of the grape juice for the production of champagne or sparkling wines in general. So about the extraction of the grape juice, here you can follow the extraction of your white grape juice, of your white must, following the absorbance at 420 nanometers, or of course you can use the PPI to follow the extraction of the phenolic components that are practically catechins in this case, and you are able to stop at the right level of your of polyphenols. You are able to stop the extraction. What about the malolactic fermentation? In this case, normally in the white wines, the malolactic fermentation is not made, but in specific wines you can make it. And for these specific wines, we have a malolactic kit that is able to give you both acids, L-malic and L-lactic acids, in one single test. So if you produce a wine like this, you can use this kit to have both parameters in a single shot. What about the wine bottling? Of course, the main parameters are free and total SO2, of course, alcohol. Here you can see that as I told you before, we have a reagent not affected neither by wine color nor ascorbic acid, and of course tannins with reduction activity. So you can work easily on wines with a very high color without any problems. And of course, another big advantage is if you have in white wines ascorbic acid, our test is not affected, so you can easily have the real value of free and total SO2. Here in this slide, you can see a correlation you have an example of correlation with reference methods. These are extracted by a study we made in collaboration with the University of Florence that we are going to publish shortly, I think in July, these correlations and this assessment made by the University of Florence. As you can see, these are just examples: acetic acid, malic acid, and fermented sugars. You can see that the correlation between CDR WineLab and the reference method is great. We have 0.97 on the acetic acid, 0.99 on malic acid, and another 0.99 fermented sugars. So we have a perfect correlation between the WineLab and the reference method. So, in conclusion, we can say that CDR WineLab is a system easy and fast to realize your winemaking quality control from, as I told you, from the grapes to the finished product. You can take decisions quickly in a few minutes about the whole winemaking process. You can realize the complete in-house quality control of the process itself. And very important, but I'll demonstrate to you after the demonstration, the analyzer can be used by everyone. You don't need any chemical expertise because you don't need to be a chemist. You need just the analyzer. Of course, you have to be a little trained on the machine, but this is for everything, of course. So the last, but not the least, you don't need any glassware. So with only a small desk, you can check all the samples you want. A desk where you can put your WineLab, a centrifuge, and an ultrasonic bath, and with these 3 devices, you are able to check everything. Okay, so let's see right now how CDR WineLab works. So if you give us just 1 minute, we switch the camera and we start making analysis. In the meantime, I don't know if you have questions. You can, Francesco, you can start collect them, and after the presentation, we are going to answer them all. Okay?
Yeah, Simone. As a matter of fact, a few persons asked some questions. So for Dave and Bonnie, John, Matthew, James, like just wait till the end of the presentation, and then we will answer to all of your questions. We just need a few moments. Simone will just tell you when we can see your when you can see the camera, so that you can start making the demo for the. Okay, now we can see it. So you can change place and start presenting from there.
Yeah. Okay. So here we can see we have prepared the WineLab. We have here the junior, and aside we put the centrifuge. Okay, so you can see it's very compact and pretty small. Here we have the ultrasonic bath, and here you have 2 wines that we are going to use for this analysis. Okay, so let's start looking at the screen here. Okay, so here we can select the matrices. As you can see, this WineLab is configured also for other matrices. So we can put all in one analyzer: wine, beer, water, and also cider and kombucha. So because, as you know, we have, as I told you before, we have different analyzers, but if you produce different beverages like this, you can put all together in one analyzer. Okay, so we select now malic acid. Okay, so we go into wine, and we go to select. Here you have the list of the parameters. and we select malolactic, and here you have L-malic, malolactic, or L-lactic. So we select malic acid, and now we start analysis. So on the screen you have the method, or you can call the help. Here you have the method written on the screen with the help of the pictures. So we have a guide step by step for to carry out the analysis. Okay, so here we have the package. This is an example of package, for example, of fermentable sugars, where you have all the storage conditions and all the information about the kit. Inside you find 10 cuvettes and 1 or 2 bottles to carry out all the 10 analysis, because one single cuvette for us means 1 analysis. Okay, so here we have we start, as I told you, with the malic acid. So we have the cuvette here. Okay, this is the cuvette. Okay, ready to use. As I told you, inside you have 1 milliliter of reagents, and into the package of Malic you have 2 bottles, R1A and R2, to perform all the 10 analyses you have in the package. As I told you before, this handling is absolutely the same for practically most of the other analyses available on the WineLab. Okay, so let's start making the analysis. Okay, so here we take the cuvette as it is written on the screen. We have to add 50 microliters of R1A and after 20 microliters of sample. So with this easy pipette that we can use it only for the reagents, in this case, we take a tip and we collect 50 microliters. So easily, like this, we open the cuvette and we add the first reagent into the cuvette like this. Okay, so after this we have to add, as it is written on the screen, 20 microliters of sample. So we take the sample and we collect it. Here, the most difficult operation of the analysis is just to wipe the tip like this. With a small piece of paper, you have to remove the wine you have on the outer surface of the tip, and after that we put the tip into the liquid and we press up and down to release all the sample inside. And that's it. We shake by inversion and we start the timer. Okay, so in this time, now we have just to wait, and in this time we can start doing another analysis. Here we have total SO2, so we can prepare putting the cuvette of total SO2 into the incubation part. And we have for total SO2, total SO2 is even easier than Malic because we have only 1 reagent to add. In the Malic we have 2 reagents. The first one we have just added, and another one we are going to add after. For total SO2 we have just 1 bottle. So practically now we can select. Now I'm continuing with the Malic, and after I'll show you the total SO2. So at the end of the first minute, so as you can see here, if you have many samples, you can use this 1 minute for all the samples you have, okay? So in this sense, you can save time. So we go ahead. Here we have written sample 1. So of course, here you have the possibility to change the name of the sample. So we take the Malic cuvette, we put the Malic cuvette into the reading cell with the blue light, and we press read. Here you can see sample 2. So if you have filled all the incubation part with all with cuvettes of Malic, you start reading the sample 2, sample 3, 4, and so on. At the end of the session, you press stop. Now we have just 1 cuvette, so we press stop, and now we have to add, as it is written on the the screen, the R2, 50 microliters of R2. With the same easy pipette, we take the cuvette, we open it, and we add the reagent into the cuvette, and that's it. So you can imagine. Malic is the same of sugars, acetic, lactic, gluconic. So this easy handling is for all the analysis practically. So we start the timer, and now we have just to wait 3 minutes. Okay, in these 3 minutes we can start running the total SO2 that is here. So we can go to home, we press on continue, and we select total SO2. So we go to sulfur dioxide. Here we are going to do an analysis on the red wine in this case. So as you can see, we have 2 different calibrations, total SO2 for reds and for whites. So we select that one for red. Here there is a check of the reading part. So the analyzer is checking the reading part before to run the analysis. This is all automatic. And after this, we can start the analysis. All this while we are waiting for the malic acid. So now the analyzer is ready. We can add, in this case, 25 microliters of sample, and so we select 25. We put a tip on it, and we take red wine, and again, like before, we take the sample, we wipe the tip like this, and we add the sample. We add the sample into the cuvettes. We press up and down to release the sample inside, and that's it. So we shake by inversion, we put the cuvette into the reading cell, and we press. Here we read the blank practically, and now again we have to add the reagent, the specific R2 reagent for total SO2 that is is included into the package. And so same story, same yellow pipette, 50 microliters into the cuvette. We shake by inversion. I don't know if you can see now, is developing a yellow color that is linked to the concentration of the SO2. Okay, so we start the timer now, 1 minute, In the meantime, the analyzer is ringing because the malic acid is over. So we go to here on the where it is written alert. So malic acid is finished, and we go ahead to read the cuvette of L-malic acid. And we have the result displayed on the screen and, of course, printed on the paper. Okay, so now we wait for total SO2. So we select total SO2, and after 15 seconds, we are going to read also the result of total SO2. So this is the handling of the machine. As you can see, total SO2 or malic acid are practically the same. The incubation is finished. We select, we read the cuvette, and we have the result displayed on the screen, or as I told you before, the same printed on the paper. So this is the easiness of this system. Okay, so if you have some questions, of course, we are here to answer you.
Perfect, Simone. So now you can change your webcam back to your face, and I will get the screen.
Yeah, sorry, just a second.
Don't worry.
Okay, webcam here.
Okay, so now if anyone has some questions, it's the moment to make them. It's very easy. If you're connected by cell phone, you just have a question mark on the bottom of your screen. You just press on it and tab your question. Otherwise, if you're connecting from your computer, on the right side of your screen, you have orange arrow. You just press on it, and then it will open a small panel, and you just go on question and chat, and you just write it there. Since I already have already got some question from you, I think that is pretty much easy. Is as easy as using your WineLab. Using this system to make questions is easy as your WineLab. So Dave asked us in the beginning, Simone, if the results are just printed or they can be fed to a computer.
Yeah, of course, you can, for both analyzers, the small one and the big one, you can connect both analyzers to your computer and transfer all the results you want on your computer, of course.
Okay. Okay, Tom is asking for price, and yeah, okay. He left you I think like it's difficult to speak about prices because like we have people connecting from all over the world, and so you have all different distributors and different prices, but like he just left you an email so that you can get in touch with him.
Yeah, of course, about the prices, talking from all over the world, I think it's better to send us an email, and we can refer to your specific distributor, or we can answer you directly. So you can write us about that.
Okay, Viviana will just share your question with Giulia, and she might answer it because it's kind of just very straightforward for one person. It's not maybe interesting for everyone else. Jen is asking if the machinery is capable of measuring potassium levels in grape juice.
No, because this analysis, for now, we don't have developed this test, but I can't exclude that in the next time we can have it. We have to say that, of course, all the analysis you have now on the WineLab, they have been developed in I think 10 years or a bit less, let's say 7 years. So we have started with a short panel of tests, and after we have developed different analysis. So, for example, in the case of gluconic acid and galacturonic acid, that we have developed them specifically for the customers in Champagne, we have developed this analysis, and after that we gave the possibility to all our customers to have them. Okay, so we are in the next future, I can't exclude that we can develop the potassium analysis, and even if you have bought the analyzer now, you will have updated the analyzer with the new test development.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Yeah, so Bonnie and Rob from Franklin Inn Vineyards in Bangor, I guess it's PA, Pennsylvania, they ask if will the alcohol test check a sample that has some residual sugar in it?
No problem. We have an enzymatic analysis, so our test is absolutely not affected by residual sugars.
Okay, perfect. Zelico, I guess it's I pronounce your name correctly, I hope so at least, asks us if you can show on the junior model the 3 analyses at the same time. Or maybe like I know that maybe it will take a little bit time, so maybe you can get in touch with him later and you can show him privately, maybe.
Anyway, what we can do with the junior, you can select the analysis you want. So just to make an example, Malic, sugars, and FeSO2. This could be the basic configuration, but you have also the possibility in the next future to buy other tests, and you don't have to send back to us the machine, of course. You buy, in this case, a software. You can connect the analyzer to the computer, and easily you can update with the analyzer with the software you bought.
Okay, and another question is the SO2 analysis. Is it okay if there's some ascorbic acid inside of the wine?
Yeah, of course. As I told you, ascorbic acid doesn't affect at all the measure of both free and total SO2.
Okay. So Domenico is asking us how long is the duration of the reagents? How long can they last?
Normally we can roughly 1 year. We have a few kits with 6 months and other with 18 months. So let's say a medium shelf life of 1 year.
Okay. And so if for all of you, if you see me that I try to make a question and I'm not very, I do not do it easily, is because like I'm translating, because some of you are writing questions in Italian rather than Spanish, but for me it's not a problem. So any of you just feel free to write in Portuguese, Italian, Spanish, French, or English, of course. So, but if you are not fluent in English, you can just write in your home language. So just let me get another one. Luca is asking us, so he probably makes both wine and oil. So he makes olive oil and wine. Can he use the same machinery?
Yeah, in this case, we can do the same, because of course CDR is located in Florence, so this is a wine region, but it's also an olive oil region. So we thought to develop something that could be adjustable also for the olive oil producer. So we can put on the same machine wine and olive oil, of course.
Okay, thank you. So just before closing, a few other questions. Val Mary is asking, how often does the machine have to be calibrated? Yearly, or is the calibration stable?
Yeah, the calibration is absolutely stable. What you can do if you want to check the entire system is to buy a control solution, that is what we supply to our customer to check the entire system. But as I told you, all our systems don't need any calibration.
Okay, thank you, Simone. Soledad Gracia is asking if the WineLab is equipped with all the tests inside, or they must buy them individually.
What do you mean? Okay, the WineLab is the big one, is able to run all the analysis. Okay, so you have all the panel into the analyzer. If you have a junior, you have to choose the analysis you want.
Okay, perfect. So Sandro is asking in Italian. Ok, Sandro, I actually cannot understand your Italian. Sarebbe analisi alcol essere allo stesso modo. Sandro, can you write it better? Thanks. No, because I think maybe me miswrote something. So Ronald, okay, Ronald is asking, do the reagents need to come to room temperature before beginning a test?
Yeah, no, normally it is written on the method to put the cuvettes into the incubation part for at least 5 minutes. So you can prepare putting the cuvettes into the incubation part 5 minutes before, and after you can run the analysis.
Okay, I will go to the Giganta question. Can it be used for traditional beer analysis? And what about the other contaminants that may hamper the results?
Okay, we have the beer lab or the wine lab configured with the beer configuration can be used on all kinds of beers without any problems. It's like you had a reference method in your hands or a laboratory in your hands, so you can analyze all kinds of beers or wort you can have.
Okay. So Jen is asking us if you can check the level of yen throughout the fermentation.
Throughout the fermentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You can check yen in which phase you want. In the phase you want, you can check yen on grapes, collecting a few grapes and looking at the value on the grapes or on the grape juice you have produced, or over the fermentation. No problem. It is a chemical analysis, so we have, as I told and wrote you, we have the reference method for inorganic nitrogen and for organic nitrogen. So you can, even if you want to detect the yan, doesn't make any sense, but you can detect it also into the finished wine without any problems.
Okay, so again, Soledad is asking for a price, and since I think there's a huge gap between dollar, euros, and all the other currencies here, yeah. I will just share with all of you.
I don't know where she come from, but we have distributors in South America. We have distributors in Spain.
I guess she's from Portugal, I guess.
From Portugal. Also, we have a distributor in Portugal. So no problem about that.
Oh no, she's from Spain. Okay, but Spain, I guess that you said that you have a distributor there.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I will just close with a question from I don't know if this it's probably like a name of the department, so it's not a name of the person. So they ask, actually they say it was a nice presentation and demo. My question is, how can we do IQ or OQ. Is there any SOP?
IQ or OQ, yeah, this is normally a way to check, a pharmaceutical way to check, to realize the quality control. And I think in this case, you can use what I mentioned before. We have a specific control solutions kit that you can use to check the entire system. Entire system means analyzer, pipette, and reagents as well, and operator. So with these control solutions that you can use if you want every year or every 3 months, it's up to you. You can verify that all the system is working correctly. Okay, this is the way you can use to realize an IQ or the OQ you mentioned.
Okay, fantastic. So I think that we ran a little bit late. We have 5 minutes more than we should have, but all of you are still here, so thank you very much for your kind attention. And Simone, I will just leave you to make a final greeting to everyone. Yeah,
thank you very much to all of you. And of course, if you have questions, you can just write to us, and of course, we are going to answer.
Okay, thank you very much, Simone, and thanks everyone. See you the next time. Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.